Hello, everyone. Welcome to Weekly Manga Recap. It's September the 24th of 2025. I'm Nick. Is that right? That's
so.
Quinn.
I hope so. We've been doing this for a while, and I've been calling you Nick for a very long time. And if you're like, my name's actually Paul, I might cry. I might just break down into tears.
Why Paul specifically? Do you have a problem with people named Paul? You have to think about this. This is concerning.
Well, I'm trying to think if there are any Pauls I really hate. There's a Paul in comics, but I've never read his stuff. I just know I'm supposed to hate him because he makes Spider-Man's life worse.
Yeah.
There's John Paul Levesque. Not a huge fan of him.
That's a good point. Yeah,
but,
Paul Levesque.
Yeah. So, it's not like I'm like, I don't ever want to see him. It's just like, I'm not a huge fan of him, I guess. Paul Bunyan. That's pretty cool. That's a great Paul. Paul from that guy with the glasses. Not how it's spelled, but like it's adjacent. Now, how does Aaron Paul work? Because Paul's not his first name, but it is part of his name.
I think that if they would be someone that you would regularly refer to as Paul, then they qualify, regardless of which name that is. So if you're the type of person to refer to athletes by their last name, specifically when addressing them, then I think that does qualify then.
Okay. Question. I have a cousin named Tom Paul. That's his full name. Tom Paul. Okay. Both names compound word.
That's interesting. Okay.
How do I process that? I have nothing against him. I like Tom Paul, but should I put him in my Paul qualification list?
I feel like you have to cut him in half and put half of him in the Paul bucket.
The King Solomon solution, where I'm like,
King Solomon solution, yes.
Yeah, King Solomon, yeah. Nick, how does this then qualify for Paul, the movie starring Simon Pegg and I believe an actual alien?
Oh wow! I guess everyone who ever worked in that movie actually has to go into the Paul bucket.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna start running through them. Simon Pegg, he's fine. Nick Frost, yeah. I think he's in that new Harry Potter. I don't know. Seth Rogen seems like a great guy. I don't want to be around him. And he's Paul. He's Paul. So yeah, that one's definitely going to qualify. Jeffrey Tambor, I believe, has allegations against him. Bobby Lee. Oh, David Koechner sucks. Now, yeah, hold on. Bill Hader's in this. Oh my God, Bill Hader was in this?
That sounds like, honestly, it sounds like that movie had a lot of people in it before they got to do other stuff.
Jesse Plemons? This is wild.
Don't even know who that is. So
he was oh gosh, he's what kind of American are you from Civil War? He's been in other things. I know him as the cop in Game Nights, who has the iconic line of "How can that possibly be profitable for Frito-Lays?" Great character, truly excellent. But yeah, everyone else, whatever happens.
Okay, well. We'll have more Paul talk some other time.
Yep.
I think
when we start WPR, Weekly Paul Recap. We just recap what's been going on with Pauls.
What's going on with all the Pauls in the world? It's going to be a 70-hour podcast every single week, a 70-hour Paul cast, if you will, and it will consume our lives. Absolutely.
We will, of course.
We can't leave out a single one.
We're going to start with the first Paul, which for me, a Catholic girl, is Saul, who, upon converting, changed his name to Paul, which I think we can all agree, strict downgrade. Saul, incredible name.
Much better name.
Powerful. Yeah. Everyone knows it. Paul, it's okay. You could do better.
Yeah. I do think that Better Call Paul would not have quite as good a ring to it.
Jesse Plemons was in that as well. See, it's all coming together.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I feel like we need to somehow loop back around and go somehow backwards in this conversation so we can make it a palindrome, and then everything will be full circle.
Like a palindrome.
That's the joke, yes.
Oh, wow! I helped in a way that made it worse. I'm sorry. We have so many series to talk about.
I'm just depressed over my joke being ruined for the rest of the episode.
We have so many series to talk about, and it's only upon looking at these that I'm like, oh, there's going to be a couple of little fun surprises for Quinn, because I did not read all of these chapters this week, unfortunately.
I don't blame you. Ichi the Witch will be our first, though, so at least that we're off to a good start with 51st Hunt to a new time! Hey, we're back with Team Descarus, and Gokuraku has an arm again. Although the way he words it is, hey, look, it grew back, and Ichi is the other one who's like, your arm grew back? And he's like, well, I had a new arm attached. It's not the same thing.
Kumiki also looks like she might have believed it for a moment. Descarus is just like, why are you talking to me? And then probably like off panel, someone's like, he's part of your group. He's one of your friends now.
This is it gives a lot of vibes of whenever Frankie reveals a new robot thing in One Piece, with Descarus playing the role of Robin for it. Because he's like, oh yeah, I've got new legs too, and Ichi's so excited, and he's like, yeah, the technicians here are great, I couldn't help but asking for more and more functionality, and Ichi and Kamugi are both like, oh, well, what kind of functionality? And Gokuraku's like, I've got a rocket launcher in my arm, and my knees have flamethrowers that I can shoot laser beams from my eyes. And the head of the Wanted Tools department has to show up and be like, he's making all of that up. We did not give him any of those functions.
This is a lie for legal purposes. He is not telling the truth.
But they reveal that they have magic hoverboards for everyone. And Ichi's like, magic hoverboards? And I was also like, what do you mean magic hoverboards? This is a very strange coinciding of sci-fi and fantasy stuff. But yeah, it's just very straightforward. It drains a little bit of magic power from you in order to float. And Ichi is warned as he's testing it out for the first time. It's really difficult to keep your balance, so be careful. And immediately, oh, it's the year 2004 again. Look at him do a sweet 1080 flip.
It was one of those ones where I'm like, is snowboarding or surfing back in? Why are we specifically using surfboards to get places? And I was like, maybe that's just one of those things we think is like eternally iconic. Like, surfboards will always be cool. I mean, surely there'll never be a time where the Silver Surfer as a concept will look dated and old.
People who think Treasure Planet is underrated are looking at the scene and being like, yes, it's happening again.
I don't want to be mean to the Treasure Planet people. I assume they've had it rough enough in their life.
Easy. They can't fight back. I have nothing against Treasure Planet. I just think that it's a little sweet that some people think that it's like that they're very ride or die for it. So,
Nick, did you ever watch Rocket Power as a kid?
Yes.
Which character did you relate to, and why was it Squid? For fairness purposes, I also related to Squid the most.
I feel like out of all of them, I probably related to Reggie, the girl, the most, because she was the one who had the least stupid shit that she was doing. So yeah, Ichi demonstrates that he is very skilled on the hoverboard thing. And he looks down at Kamugi and says, like, hey, can you ride these too? And Kamugi says, well, technically, yes. But humans are born with perfectly good legs to help us get places, so why do we need to ride these? And yeah, she's not the most balanced, and so she's like, I'm good on hover bikes and stuff. And Descar's like, oh yeah, we encountered you riding a hover bike in that scene that Nick really, really likes because it feels very iconic visually. And she's kind of embarrassed over it. We get a little breakdown of like, yeah, there's actually all number of magic tools for flight. Some of them are just magical versions of basic human transportation, like bicycles and skates. But the version of a motorcycle that they've got has a luxury cushioned chair and Nick's motorcycle.
I was gonna say a very Nick coded motorcycle. I do need to note, just, I feel like I'd be missing the bit if we didn't. Those are high heel roller skates, so air gear lives on in our hearts.
Doesn't seem like the most practical.
Well, let's look at the stats. Maneuverability is very high.
Insane.
Yeah, it's honestly, this seems pretty good. Energy consumption is down. Required maintenance pretty low. Range is rough. You're not going to get too many places on them, but
yeah,
your butt will look great while you're doing it.
No comment. So I imagine that as well, it requires a lot of skill to actually use them. If otherwise, we would just see everyone using them with those kind of stats. Gokuraku eyes the high-heeled magic skate boots for a second, but so they're going to be setting off on a new adventure. I also like the comment of over the motorcycle of like, how much did this cost to make? But don't let Monaco know that I'm using the budget for this.
Don't tell anyone I made this sweet, cool motorcycle.
But Ichi spots hanging up on the wall a straight-up witch's broom, and his eyes are instantly drawn to it. And he's like, well, what's that? I was like, oh, it's a flight broom, old model. People say that, brooms pick their people. And this one's a real beast. You need lots of aptitude. You need a whole lot of practice to use it. And Ichi just can't stop staring at it. And it's like, oh, it's beautiful. But all of a sudden, Jikishirane pops in. Travel mode, Jikishirane. She has other clothes, it turns out, than her pajama set. But not taking off that jester cap. That's here to stay. And she's like, oh, yeah, come on, let's go. And she's like, what do you mean, let's go? And she's like, yeah, I'm on your travel hunt. I'm going with you guys. And that, of course, takes everyone by surprise. And then we get a little flashback to explain that Jikishirane got a prophecy in regards to herself. And she's like, oh, yeah, it says here, go with the light and you may find a fragment of the future for which you yearn. And for which you search, sorry. When getting this, Monogold was like, that's kind of unusual that this happened. And Jikishirane was like, no, it's not. Shut up.
Actually, it's very normal. I do it all the time, actually.
Okay. So, Jikishirane says, like, to herself, I totally made this prophecy up as an excuse to go on this mission, but I have to know if this Ichi the Witch is the Messiah. Is he the one who can stand against the world hater? And then after that, I'm going to have to decide which side I take. So, of course, she's been spurred into action by the threat against her life and also actual Jikishirane's. She's going to presumably just go with the option that she thinks gives her the best chance of survival. The mission is going to be on the Pendulum Seas, because there is a legendary magic located out there, one that the Witches Association really, really wants to acquire, the Time Magic. Found on the Pendulum Seas, the cursed stretch of water has sent many a ship to the cold depths, and within it drifted a creepy cradle of death, the ghost ship Chronostasis Yar.
Thank you. So I like the extra accent.
And everyone rides flying surfboards out to the ship.
I like that Komigi is riding a saddle, like second saddle, but also sitting, like her legs are hanging down off the sides. She's not about surfing on these things. I would not be shocked if there is like an actual car seat that she's like buckled into. Because they're just like, look, she doesn't just do well any other way. This is like a fun, cool thing. I like this, the way this chapter is just going to end on like a tease of what's to come. Be like, hey, we haven't given them a specific term yet, but maybe we're going to give a term for these legendary kinds of magics we're starting to introduce. And hey, here's one. Ichi's going to have to conquer it for this mission. That's pretty big. That's what the World Hater magic's all about. So, like, there's a lot of intriguing things to it. But also, there's a legend. We see Jinker Shirine's expression when she is told it's the Pendulum Sea. She's like, oh, I know a little bit about this one, and it does not go well for most people. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for this.
Yeah, time stuff gonna be interesting to see how that goes, and I like how we again have this very different take on a classic, fantasy concept for an enemy. I don't know if I've ever heard of someone being like, "Oh yeah, it manipulates time. What form does it take? Pirate ship." Okay, awesome.
It's weird. I haven't played the game. Is there not a dungeon in like Skyward Sword that is like a ghost ship riding through the desert? I think it's the only other time I've seen anything remotely like that.
I don't know about Skyward Sword.
I don't either, unfortunately. But I know I watched a Game Maker's Toolkit about a dungeon in it, I believe.
In Tears of the Kingdom, there is a giant-ass airship that you have to go up into the sky to get into. It's one of the temples.
That was a good one. I remember that one.
All right. With that one wrapped up, Blue Box, Chapter 212. New challenges to face. Get your Pokemon opening inserted in here. Switch it over. This is happening on April 4th, which is not special for any reason. And Taiki is going to the gym. This time, Janatsu's not there because she has graduated from all that stuff.
Tragic.
Bunch of first years are showing up at the school. Ayame reacts to them by going, "They're so blinding. Their youth and brightness. Their innocence and hope in the world."
It is wild. Did you ever have that moment when you were graduating high school where you saw like the next class of freshmen come in? You were like, they look like babies. Like you're admitting babies into our school.
I was tall for a freshman in high school, so I don't think that I had people react to me that way very much. But certainly, like for those people who were late bloomers, by the time that I was a senior, I was like, Jesus Christ, where'd you come from? You sprouted out of the ground. I remember there was a time that I was in class, and it was some sort of like PE class. So they asked for us to provide our heights and stuff. And there was this very short girl who was part of it, and she was like, "Yeah, 4'4", and someone else in the class who was this like 6 foot tall 18-year-old is like, "She's so tiny." The gym classes all start up, and get a bunch of new badminton applicants. Akari is there, and she says, "Okay, everyone, listen up. First years, you got to greet everyone properly when you come to the gym, and you make sure you leave your valuables and stuff over there." And she has to check her palm. She's different.
It's very adorable because you're like, oh yeah, she is now an upperclassman in this school. But it is very funny that she and she does have a confidence she did not have when she first joined the school, but she is still, at her core, always like a little scatterbrained and whatnot. I do think that's very cute.
And I love that Haruto is being very judgmental. Is like, I don't know if she's got to be really suited for this. I mean, he's just chilling with a juice, and I was like, shut the fuck up.
I like that. Yeah, he's like, should she really be doing this? I'm like, I noticed you're not, dude.
You're not doing anything.
You're sitting there drinking juice, like.
Taiki shows up and is just, very calm, like, "Hey, everybody, sorry I had a meeting," and everyone, and a whole bunch of especially the new people are like, "Oh, it's Inomata Senpai. Oh my god, he got to go to nationals. He's so cool." And Taiki and Ayame and Kyo are all just like, what is happening?
This is one of the best developments, because I love that a next generation comes in. And this is kind of how like news circulates when you're at that age, where you're just like, I heard Donnie, the senior, he got to nationals last year, and he's so strong, and like everyone's like oohing and ahhing. And then there's a moment later where someone drops Chinatsu's name, and they're like, I have no idea who that is. She's not in the school anymore. Who cares?
Immediately, all the goldfish at the school forgot about her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that happens. People do point out, like, oh yeah, Taiki, you have gone to nationals, I guess. And Taiki's very humble about it, and he says, yeah, but that happened a whole year ago. I've got new challenges in front of me now. And he laces up his sneakers. And Kyo and Ayame both, like, slick his hair down and like shove a teddy bear in his arms, and he's like, what are you doing? And they're both like, we gotta make you less cool.
Yeah,
you're not allowed to be cool.
He said a line in a cool way, and like a way that's everyone's supposed to admire, so to like make you look like an idiot instead.
That very infrequently seen club advisor notes to everyone's like, okay, I know that, we all the new members have just shown up. Regional qualifiers for nationals are right around the corner. Qualifiers and prefectural qualifiers are your path to nationals. Those are going to be the final tournaments for the third years. And he says, I don't want any of you to feel regret, so keep on working hard and make that your goal. Not like, achieving an outcome, but to just do your best. But Taiki is looking ahead to, I've got to beat Yusa. That's my goal right now. He also reflects on, hey, he, spoiled Haryu's dreams by beating him. And so he's like, I'm going to have to like carry that on my back now. That's kind of like a burden that I carry. And of course, behind him, Haruto also locked in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Chinatsu's going to university, and she doesn't have to wear a uniform, so she's just in her comfy jacket. And so she's looking around, and someone's like, oh, join this club. And she's like, I actually know what activity I'm going to go into. And the guy's like, come on, take a brochure. Come on, let's do it together. And Haryu is there and kind of intercepts it for her and says, yeah, she'll think about it. And so... I don't know. I feel like this is just the tried and true thing of like, yeah, sure, let me check it out. I'll throw it away immediately. But, yep, so Haryu's going to the same university, but they are going into different departments and stuff. They exchange some pleasantries and everything as they're kind of walking part of the way towards Chinatsu's class, and she notes like, yeah, I guess that like everyone back at Ame is going to practice right now. And Haryu also reflects on his match with Taiki and starts to bring something up, but Chinatsu spots a familiar face. It's her neighbor, the guy that we just found out was involved in badminton. And Haryu calls out, is like, oh, I recognize that guy. That's Yozaki. Yeah, he was on the Japanese youth national team in elementary school. He went to Saichikawa for high school, and got them into nationals and stuff. And now he's a third year in college, so he's expected to go into the national team in the future. And Shinatsu is just staring aghast, like, "That's my freaking next door neighbor." And Ari's like, "Oh wow, okay. I wonder if he'd play against me." Immediately missing badminton now that he's out of it in high school. But Haryu also notes, like, actually, if Taiki were to go up against that guy, he'd probably learn a lot from it. Ooh. Meanwhile, Yozaki is actually going to play with Yusa. So, yep. He shows up at Sajikawa a bit later, drops off a souvenir from his previous away game with the team, so just still playing on good terms, and Yusa's like, hey, let's play. And Yozaki's like, no.
It's like, dude, I really want to chill. Oh, my back. Ooh.
But he's like, yeah, I'm, trying to earn cash from work and everything. And Yusa points out, you also get paid to be a coach for us. I do. I don't know. I feel like he might be taking this really easily.
Mm.
Yeah. So he No, it's like, yeah, everyone I talk to says the same thing that like, oh, you're probably going to be first in the prefecture. And yeah, you did it last year. So of course you're going to do it again this year. But Yusa says, my goal is to win nationals this year. So that's why I need you to practice with me. So, yep. But Yusa's not losing sight of Taiki, his, only rival that we are aware of in the series. And thinks to himself, I got to know how much stronger others have gotten compared to how much I've grown as well. Because it's because I compete that I can enjoy myself and realize my own strength.
Yeah. He notes his own brother being one of them that then specifically, even notably says out loud, Inomata. So we know that he has Taiki in there, but I also do that he's like, all right, well, I do have to crush my little brother at some point.
I must break him. Must crush his hopes and dreams.
Do you think we are going to get Haruto fighting Taiki or Haruto fighting Yusa?
It feels like Taiki and Haruto are going to be the semifinals before Yusa, doesn't it? Like, kind of set up a similar echo to the previous year, where it's the upperclassmen and the lowerclassmen, and the winner gets to go up against Yusa.
I think if this were a sports manga, I think that's exactly what would happen. I think in this series, we are going to see Yusa fight Haruto, and knock him out of nationals. So we won't even get his chance to play Taiki. I mean, obviously they'll have matches before then, but in my mind, that's what I'm going to say now. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
And then like next week, we're like, didn't see that meteor coming. Very different series with the giant ants now. Blue Box is really shifted. It's called Blue Box because that's they use the gymnasium as the last refuge from the zombies.
I feel like I watched a K-drama about that. Yeah, so Taiki is, he's playing badminton, beats a clubmate in straight sets, and all the young kids are like, oh, he's so strong, whoa! And Kudo's like, yes, he is strong, but you guys don't fall in love with him. He has Chinatsu-senpai. Who's that?
That's legit. It's so funny to me where they're like, I don't know who that is. I'm sorry. Is she here right now? Can you point to her and we can all marvel? No, then it doesn't matter anymore, unfortunately.
She's in Canada now. Kudo says like, oh, she was so perfect and lovely and smart and beautiful, the ace of the basketball club, and all the girls are like, oh wow, she sounds like perfect match for Inomata-senpai. Hina is listening in the background like,
she's not saying anything. She's just, she's hearing it. I do really appreciate that Kudo slowly got built up more and more to now he has just taken the place of I don't remember, but a bald guy.
Who's that guy?
He's gone, Nick. He's not in the school anymore. He's out of my memory. I don't have to think about him as a character anymore. But he fills in that like goofy idiot role really well, and I enjoy that quite a lot.
Yeah, it snuck up on us, but it was very well done. Like, you little dope.
You scamp, you little horny weirdo.
Speaking of horny weirdos, Boruto.
This is one of the chapters I'm going to fully say right now I did not get the chance to read through before this podcast. So
Quinn, how envious I am of you.
I will say there were opportunities, and every time I was like, I'll do anything else right now. Like, I really need to like change the laundry. I really should get on that math homework. Like, I
can tell you right now, I got through the opening 14 pages, and then I hit a wall of text, and I was like, and I procrastinated reading this until today because I did not want to read all of that. And then I did read all that, and I was like, no, I was right to not want to read all of that because so little is accomplished with so many words. We get actually a lot more development in just like the first few pages of this because it opens up with Inojin visiting Himawari. Inojin has made a full recovery, and we didn't see him even get released from the hospital or nothing. He's just fine now after getting nearly impaled in half.
There's medical ninja or something. He should be fine. Can't they just like reach
saw
in
Sakura
and
working on him.
Yeah, can't we just see someone reach in and pull out the like stab wound or whatever? Like they just take it out and like fill it with matter.
So
or Bugs give Shino something to do. They're like, we need something to fill this wound, and Shino's like on it. And he just starts shooting cockroaches into the open wound, and then they're like,
"Are you sure that's the best thing that you could be filling him with?"
Do you have?
That's what I fill him with.
I could do ants, but they're really small, so I mean, you got to be careful with them.
Take more.
I'm not made of ants. I am actually made of ants to a certain degree, but.
My doctor hates me, by the way. Every time he gets an oral a tongue depressor out, he goes.
Doctors hate him.
Anyway, Jin brought over some honey for Himawari, and I don't know. I actually find this very cute because she's very happy about getting honey. She turns into full Winnie the Pooh in this moment.
Honestly, I'd be ecstatic if someone gave me honey as a gift. I'm like, oh, I do need good honey. This is incredible.
She smiles and is happy and stuff, and Inojin immediately it's like, oh, I guess he's in love with her. Like, I don't think we got any sign prior to this that he was crushing on this girl, but honestly, seeing this interaction, I am like, yeah, it's like the least bad ship in the series currently, so...
Yeah, you know what? OTP. They might as well be in this series. I actually kind of like the both of them to some degree, so...
Call the ship like Honey Jar or something like that.
Yeah, because, well, I was going to say Inojin needs a character trait, but yeah, he gave honey, so that could just be his character trait. He always just gives honey to people.
Generous, thoughtful, willing to turn on his hometown at the drop of a fucking hat.
Stupid hair.
I mean, comparatively speaking, it's kind of par, honestly. Anyway, a random frog appears as Inojin is heading outside and says, "Hey, I've got questions for you." And he's like, oh, actually, I don't have any questions I need you to answer. I actually know all your answers. This is just really a formality. Anyway,
Okay, I'm sorry.
You got a crush on Himawari, don't you?
Does a frog just show up and start reading his mind? Like, what is this? Or is the frog...
Because he's related to Kashin Koji, so he's seen all the futures where Inojin goes home and like does the really embarrassing thing that teenagers do when they think about their crushes, like try and write paper charms and stuff.
Oh, he saw him hop on his bed and start kicking his little leggies while looking at a picture of her.
I don't think I ever did that, so...
Oh, you're missing out, Nick. Some point in your life, just lay on your belly and just kick your little leggies. Just really get all the energy out of it. Just be giddy.
Quinn, I am like 55% legs. I don't have little leggies.
I have very long legs too, but I still kick my little leggies when I need to.
I think that I'm incapable of just extending from my knee. I have to like do the whole like dolphin kick.
Yeah, kick your little leggies, your whole leg, do whatever.
Not the little leggy, I'm telling you. That's Taekwondo training kicking in.
Well, do whatever you need to. You just live giddiness, Nick. I feel like it would bring you so much joy. And if not...
How many shirts with skulls do you remember I have?
I believe when you were here in Harrisburg, you wore one essentially every day, so I think you own at least 10 or 11.
Anyway, so the Kashin Koji Toad says, "You got a crush on Himawari, don't you? Don't you?" And Himawari goes, Inojin goes, "Duh, yeah, okay. So anyway, come with me." But he's just like, "You want to protect her, don't you?" "Well, yeah. Okay, come on." It teleports him against his will.
This is wild. This is 6 pages into this chapter, and I feel like a lot has happened already.
Anyway, God, this is... Quinn, I hate these guys. Kashin Koji is sitting on his fuck me couch, and he is slumped forward with the worst posture you could possibly have, and says, "I'm Kashin Koji, and I'm protecting your village against the divine trees." And then, of course, there is another voice that says, "Don't take this as a threat. This place doesn't have a physical exit, so you can't leave on your own." And Boruto, what are you doing, dude? Why are you doing? You're not on a rap album cover, okay? You're not the bad guy. Why are you posing like that?
Because it's cool, Nick. This is what the kids call having aura, I believe. This is supposed to be a cool moment.
I feel like if I meet anyone who thinks that Boruto has aura in this frame, then they are not allowed to date my daughter. I don't have a daughter, and I'm probably years and years from having a daughter, but they're not allowed to date my daughter.
Fair enough. Well, it's worth noting.
Years and years, by the way, could extend into reincarnation. Is how far off.
Whoa!
And still, I will remember across time and space.
I'll say, I think if your goal was to have this be a cool moment no matter what, not making it at least a full page spread really doesn't even do you any justice then. It really feels like a moment where it achieves nothing at all. This is worthless at every angle.
We needed more shots of some of the divine trees reading a book in utter silence.
It's weird. There's so few times in this series that I feel like they do full page spreads, which just feel to me like missing an intrinsic part of like shonen manga. Like, why don't you ever let moments look really cool and big?
Jura's reading a book, and a little tear comes out. And when I don't know, the one who's Sasuke says like, "Hey, what's going on? What you got there?" He says, "This is a novel. It is a fictional tale that seems to have touched my heart." And they reflect on Matsuri's emotional reaction when she was down bad for Konohamaru, and they were very, very, very slowly killing each other. And so Jura analyzes, yes, that was her emotional reaction, the tears, when the various feelings she harbored, anger and sadness and a glimpse of love. Anyway, Mawashi's got a pinup book, so I guess they got one of them too.
Cool.
Okay. And
yeah. I like that one of them's just like, tell me more about this horniness you all experience. Like, you know, all the rest of them are like, what is this love you speak of? He's like, these fat blobs of muscle or fat, what are they, and how do I rub my face into them?
My phone knows, apparently. Yes, this is the feeling known as mommy milkies. Yes, I now am learning the secrets of humans. Yes. I believe that girl is the one that they call a baddie. Yes. Humans are curious things, slaves to their emotion, yet horn dogs that give everything meaning, don't they? Anyway, so you could just talk about anything like this, and it just turns it into really fascinating material. Yes, I see. You don't get nutritional sustenance from it, but it tastes good, and that gives it meaning. Yes.
I'm now more curious. So if Bug is Bug's clone, whatever what it is, I don't remember its name, Mawashi. If he is just checking out like softcore pornography, is it meant to imply that Bug is also just kind of a little bit of a pervert? And this is just like carried on. I don't love that he spent all of his time around Ada then. I'm really starting to dislike that part of our story again.
Why is he so important, Quinn? Why did we have a divine tree based on Bug? All the great pillars of the Naruto canon, you know, a freaking like the actual divine tree. You know, we got Sasuke. We had one based on Gaara's son. I guess that makes sense at least.
That's something.
And then Bug, that guy who was hanging out with Code.
I'll say Bug's slightly more interesting than Moegi's clone. I truly don't understand. I was like,
we turned the dial down real low for her.
Yeah.
I admit, but. So, yeah, Amawashi says, like, I think I know why my instinct chose that woman Ada as my target, because I want to devour her, not just to consume her, but for control. I want to make her superior genetic information mine. And everyone else looks at him and is like, well, that's kind of gross and creepy. And, yeah, so that's that. And but Juro's like, I see. Interesting. That may not be a bad way to learn about love. I'm begging you, man. Like, if this is gonna be your thing, graduate from a 3rd grade writing level when you're talking about love. Please pass your first philosophy class if this is gonna be your thing.
It is wild that this character's like, I am starting to understand things. I am this clone, and I need to discover what love is. Perhaps I will learn this love you all speak of. And I'm like, dog, I know that you know that this story's been done 100 times. Like, you're inspired by ones that have done this sort of thing. Like, stop, dude. Like, do something cooler with this.
All right, so now we get into the big thing that made Nick decide, nah, future Nick will worry about that. Shikamaru is walking down a hallway and he gets contacted by Kashin Koji via Inojin's jutsu because he's got the transmission jutsu thing. But this time they don't need Ino's cooperation and it's off the books because he's not part of the sensory squad. And so how'd they talk him into it? They just did. Anyway, so he contacts Shikamaru and says like, hey, it turns out that they wanted the council wants to like talk to you and you might lose your position as Hokage if things go really badly. So watch out. But he goes in, and Konohamaru is already there, along with a guy who is really, really, really trying hard to have the worst hair in this series. Trying so hard to have the worst hair. Why is it streaked that way? That's not naturally how hair streaks. God. So, his name is Kobu, and he's there with the elders, and they interrogate Shikamaru for a bit, and there are so many words. There's so many words, but eventually Konohamaru objects to like how Shikamaru just kind of like took action without consulting them, and he starts talking about it. He's like, well, yeah, you know, the like guys like Boruto actually saved my life in that mission, and I don't even know if he actually intends to harm Konoha and stuff. And everyone points out like, our information is he fucking killed the Hokage. And like, what the fuck are you talking about? You saying we should listen to a guy who killed the previous Hokage? Fuck you.
Somehow I doubt they were that directed, funny, and cool about it, though. I feel like it was instead 4 pages of them having, like, long, drawn-out conversations to get to that exact point.
Essentially. And then Kobu says, I think that there's a mole. And if there's anything my many interactions with Anderson Cooper have taught me, it's how to uncover a mole.
Great reference.
Thank you. Yeah, so Sai is also there, by the way. He just hadn't had anything to say. Sai's role in this series is bodyguard who doesn't say anything. Fucking, do you have any thoughts about your son, by the way, who nearly died? We haven't heard from you in all this. Anyway, so Kobu suspects that there is a mole, and of course everyone, we know it's Shikamaru and stuff. Also, Kashin Koji and Boruto are listening in because they're using Inojin's connection to just hear the whole thing, and Kobu's like, I'm gonna expose the mole. Ba-boom. So we cut over to Kashin Koji's cave, and Inojin brings up like, man, that was like really not good that I did that. Like, he goes over all the different laws he just broke, and is like, is this how you guys always operate? And Kashin Koji says, we have no choice but to be crafty. Don't forget, Inojin, you are now deeply in collusion with us. This is fucking entrapment!
It's such a...
Where are the good guys?
It's such a weird move. You're like, hey, you like that girl, right? Well, now you're in rap for us for like international espionage and conspiracy. Like, dude, I liked a girl. What happened?
Inojin is like 13, and they kidnapped him off the street and said, use your hacky phone listening ability, or we won't let you go from this room that literally has no doors for you to leave from. And they're like, haha, you have colluded with us now.
They're like, welcome to the team, brother.
We're good people, really. Boruto's fucking hand is glued to his cheek because he won't stop posing like that. And he's like, the bad guys won't stop at anything, so we too must conform to the enemy's methods. We don't have the luxury of operating within the rules. You gotta always be thinking about what you truly need, using your brain. I know that they're trying to make Boruto an anti-hero. I understand that we're trying to make him darker and edgier, and he's got an eye scar now, and ooh, I don't give a shit.
He's not cool. I feel like that's the thing that really gets an anti-hero to work. And Boruto has tried so hard to be cool since this time skipped, and it has not worked. His stupid new outfit, all of his sword skills, the way he talks, his stupid new technique that spins you around forever, except it hasn't worked either time he's used it. It's not cool, and they keep pushing it. I don't want to see this dude try to be an anti-hero.
Oh, but he's so cool. He's got 2 girls fighting over him who he never acknowledges.
And they both kind of suck, too.
Kashin Koji, oh, by the way, Inojin actually does indicate, like, yeah, I am actually going along with this because I want to protect the village and I want to protect Himawari. So, yeah, I'll do it. So, all right, that was easy. Kashin Koji says to Boruto, has it been resolved? You offered Momoshiki some deal, did you not? And Boruto says, just relax, I'll take care of it. And Kashin Koji says, that's not an answer. I don't care for that attitude of yours. And Boruto's like, I also have bad posture now, and slumps forward with his hands between his legs and goes, yeah, well, you're always holding back the inconvenient bits. How many were supposed to die during the sand mission? And before I could even think the joke of like, stop fighting in front of Inojin, he goes, guys, can you stop fighting in front of me? This is really awkward for me. I just came on board.
Hey guys, I just joined a team. Maybe do you guys want to have like a Slack channel separately you want to hash this out in, or just right in front of me? Okay.
Guys, my first shift started at 8 a.m. It's 8:55, and you guys are at each other's throats. This is not leaving me with a good impression here.
Hey guys, it's my.
I don't think that the $7.50 you guys are paying me is going to be worth it.
Hey guys, it's my first day. Could you get your shit together for one day, please?
Can you yell at only 3 customers today, please? Yeah, so Kashin Koji defends himself by saying, like, oh, I just guided things down the path that was most likely to give Sarada her Mangekyo Sharingan. Remember this. In order to avoid a future where there's no way out of many more people getting killed. If you have any other childish criticisms to make, let's hear them now. And Boruto, the hero, says of Kashin Koji, callously disregarding an ally whose life was lost in the battle that caused Sarada to awaken her Mangekyo Sharingan. Yeah, we're wasting time. Let's move on. I hate everyone in this series. They get in touch with Shikamaru briefly, and then Kashin Koji warns the divine tree known as, I completely fucked his name up. Mawashi is the name of a sumo belt. Mamushi is his name. He's going to show up in Konoha, and his target is Ada. And I will now tell you his abilities and how to deal with them. And nobody else. Because that would be good for people to be able to know so that more people could fight him. But no! Anyway, speaking of Ada, at Ada's place, Sarada and Sumire are visiting. Sarada's hugging a pillow. Like she does, like every time they visit Ada, it seems like. And
well,
Ada's like,
that's what girls do when they talk, Nick. One of you just has to grab a pillow just for like feminine purposes.
Yeah, that's how you know that they're girls. one of them's holding a pillow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ada says, so hey, when are you guys going to confess your love to Boruto? And so I was like, what do you mean when? Who said anything about doing that? And Ada's like, I mean, I watched you guys like while you were like having the whole conversation where you basically confessed your feelings to her. And so I was like, well, I don't need to be troubling him. This is what girls are for, Quinn. It's so that they can have crushes on their men and never talk about it because they don't want to be a burden to their men.
And not be involved in the many action plots that seem to be going on right now either.
It was very important for her to get her Mangekyo Sharingan so that she could do nothing and just look pretty.
Like, there's, like, multiple big conversations that happen in this, like, this chapter that are about the larger plot. All of them are just dudes. And the one time the girls get together, it's like, so when are you confessing to your boyfriend? It's like, come on, man. How is new Exorcist eating your lunch?
I don't know. So Sumire says, however, that she might actually just like straight up blurt out her feelings to Boruto, and Ada honestly proves once again is like, at least you are consistent in what you're about. Because she goes, oh my god, that's so fucking juicy. I can't wait. At least this is her thing.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying. So they talk for a bit more, and Sumire says what's most important is Boruto's feelings, and he's got bigger problems for the foreseeable future. Ugh. And then Ada brings up like, hey, you guys aren't captivated by me, are you? And they both have a take of like, and yeah, so Sarada's eyes go over to Damon, who is chilling out, leaning against a post, looking like a weird 30-year-old face on an 8-year-old's body, as he normally does. And they remember, like, oh, right, we can't let Damon find out that we're not charmed by Ada because then they might kill you. And Ada brings up, like, I mean, yeah, you guys are, like, talking about how deeply in love with someone else you are in front of me. So that doesn't seem like it'd be possible if you weren't captivated by me. And Damon shifts. Sarada activates her Mangekyo Sharingan, and Damon is too fast for her to get her eyes on him, and he darts behind them and grabs both of them by the neck and starts choking them from behind. And Damon goes, oh, you want to use your Mangekyo Sharingan? Well, it's useless if you die before you launch it, so it's very good that we spent all this time and all this effort and sacrifice someone's life to give Sarada a power that a fucking 7-year-old can beat her easily without her using it. Fucking hate this manga.
You don't
fucking
get it.
Wasting my goddamn time.
But Nick, Damon's so cool. Like,
look at him and his cool fucking rabbit hood. If anyone wants to know, it's like, Nick, why do you hate stupid hats? Look at this hat. You tell me that that's a cool hat.
Ah. Wonderful. All right. Well, I think we're going to move on, Nick. We're going to talk about Chainsaw Man. This is what, chapter 120 or 215 rather, Declaration of War.
Yeah, you wanted to go back to when the series was more fun, when also was the main character.
Yeah, I was like, take me back to the good old days.
Chapter 215, Declaration of War. The doors to hell open, a bunch of guts spew out, and yeah, it's just Yoru. I was kind of expecting it would be someone else, but it's Yoru. And she rides down. She stole a mantle from somebody at some point, because she's just wearing Asa's school uniform thing. Oh no, we did see her actually put it on when she got all of her memories.
Yeah, but she like pledged allegiance to the flag and everything.
Yep. So she snickers and looks at, the fact that everyone's gathered there. There's the Death Devil, the Famine Devil, and Chainsaw Man. And she's like, hey, if you've got something to say to me, then say it. And Lil D says, if you agree to my condition, you can turn this into weapons. Fami goes, huh? So she didn't get this warning ahead of time. And Lil D just says the condition is you go home and you just spend the rest of your life there. And Yora's like, I'm not going to do that. And Lil D warns her, well, if I use my power, you will die instantly. And Yoru immediately calls her bluff and says, you can't control the strength of your power. If you use it, your friends that you went to karaoke with are going to die too, won't they? I have your friends. Your power is unfair. Use it, and my comrades will kill your friends. And she says that she's not interested in death. She's not interested in famine. She just wants Chainsaw Man. It's all that she's wanted this whole time. And she says to him, let's wage war. We're tied, one apiece. This battle will show which of us is stronger once and for all. If you win, this world is yours. If I win, I'll claim both it and you. Do you accept? And of course, the entire time it's Chainsaw Man who doesn't really talk, so he just stares at her. And Yoru says, that's fine. I don't need a response. And the two of them square off and flash step and immediately clash. And we see like the Samurai 1/duel aftermath, basically, with Yoru's body being cut into many pieces after she's gotten off a lot of gunshots. So both of them are heavily wounded, but Yoru's head, which is completely off of her body, is ecstatically smiling while this is happening. And then we cut from there to a young Denji wandering crowded hallways and calling out for Pochita. But as he calls out for Pochita, we hear a ow as somebody trips over her clumsy feet. And look, it's Asa wandering the same hallways. And young Denji asks her, what are you doing? And she says, I have to go over there. And Denji asks why, and she says, because I've been chasing that for so long. And we just see an empty alleyway.
Interesting. I know I have talked quite a length that I was like not vibing with Chainsaw Man and not enjoying it quite a lot recently. This is the first chapter that's gotten me a little excited because we're getting straight to kind of like Yoru and Denji stuff, and we're getting into that weird area of Fujimoto's writing that I think is very fun. Like this is giving me similar feelings to like that "don't open the door" kind of moments or something like that. Like I'm like, all right, I feel like we're getting somewhere again.
It makes me think of what we learned about Asa way back when, where her tripping is what caused a lot of tragedy in her life, and the way that it's her is that she fucking trips over her feet and falls over. But of course, it was because like she was trying to rescue someone that happened to begin with, and it feels like we might be going towards like there needs to be closure in that regard for things to resolve with her, which I'm hopeful for now.
Yeah, I am preparing myself to get a sad ending in all of this. It's Chainsaw Man Fujimoto. I kind of saw this coming for a little bit here, but I am definitely going to enjoy getting to actually see Asa again and see her do things.
Yeah. You know what else I'm excited about, Quinn?
What's that, Nick?
Dandadan!
Dandadan, Dandadan. Yeah, this is chapter 210 of Dandadan after the ritual. So, we see the priest perform the little hammer. Boom, sound effect goes off. Momo, boom, she's now awake. She's awake, and she's sleeping in the same room with Vamola. So, they grabbed her, and, she's safe as well. Momo is walking into a hallway when she's greeted by somebody who's like, oh, did you sleep well? Like, oh, yes, we're taking care of you. I'll bring you some coffee. And Momo asks, hey, I expected my guardian to be here, but I don't see her things. And this person's like, give me a moment to check. And they come back and they're like, you must be referring to Miss Seiko, who made the reservations for here. Well, I'm told that she is now in a hospital in the city. And Momo is very concerned, like, oh, a hospital? All right. Well, could you tell me where it is? And she is going to get a car to travel there. But before she leaves, she tells this attendant, oh, hey, also, there was somebody I don't know sleeping in my room. cut over to the hospital. Momo goes into the hospital. Nick dances with glee. Momo finds Seiko, who is complaining that she wants some like convenience store food, basically. And Gigi has to be like, your doctor said you're not allowed to eat that stuff.
She's in good spirits, though. It's nice that we have her back after she spent almost the entire arc leading up to this going, oh, my ribs.
Yeah. She seems to be okay now. Momo shows up, though, and is like, hey, what are you doing, old bag? Why are you in a hospital? And, you know, Seiko immediately gets up and just hugs Momo. And Momo's like, what are you doing? It's embarrassing. And Gigi tries to come in and be like, oh, let me hug you guys. And Momo's like, wait, who are you? Why do you know my name? And Seiko grabs Momo and is like, wait, do you not recognize Gigi? And she's like, oh, the Gigi I went to elementary school with? Oh, well, what are you doing here? And we cut away. Cut over to Manjiro and Okarun, who are doing some training. Manjiro is just putting him through basically like extreme training. And, you know, Okarun, you know, he's buff, but he's like, yeah, it's, you know, a little hard to do all this. And Manjiro figured out the way to get this kid immediately because he's like, hey, if you're still having trouble with this, I mean, Gigi conquered it really easy. Like, Gigi did this really fast. So immediately he's like, let's start, you know, cleaning these floors even faster. We get a moment of whoever's place they're staying at here, thanking them for
Sakamoto.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks like Sakamoto from Sakamoto days. He says, "Thank you, you're for cleaning up for us." And they're like, "Pay it no mind. While we're lodging for free, while we're here in Kamigoe City, it's only right we do this much." So we know that they are doing a little training retreat as Okarun is working really hard for Momo, who he believes is coming back. We end the chapter confirming what a lot of people thought as it was happening. Momo saying, nah, there's no way aliens are real. So she has no memory of anything basically prior to meeting Okarun.
Yeah. There was a great moment in the Dandadan thread in the chat where Quinn was very, very pissed off about this, as she said that she would be if there were further delays in getting closure on the Okarun-Momo relationship. And then immediately below her, I posted the sickos, ha ha ha, yes meme. I don't know. I really did feel like in the last couple of chapters, like, it kind of resolved very suddenly, and now it's like, oh, good, it didn't resolve very suddenly. And on top of that, I think that there is something that could really be gotten out of, resetting the protagonists to the point before all their development and all the lessons that they've learned at the beginning of the series, and then having the big moment. Quinn, by the time that Momo comes back, Okarun's going to have all of his training and stuff done, and then they're both going to have overcome a trial together, and then they'll be back together. It'll be great. I'm so looking forward to seeing how this unfolds.
I would love to be able to just fast forward the 4 months or whatever it's going to take to sit through getting through all these different plot beats again for an Amnesia storyline that... Like, when did they even go inside that stupid board game? Like, that was so long ago, but the effects of that, it feels like it was forever ago, but the effects, there's just...
I think it was a year ago. That's not that long.
I'm just tired of these delays. Just let these characters be in love, in a relationship. I am so annoyed by us constantly pushing them away.
You can't get me to say, like, it's been so long that we've been waiting when we've been covering for longer than Dandadan's been published. World Trigger getting fucking exams where people are just in a room together.
Yeah, but that's the thing. we all vocally displayed our displeasure with the pace of World Trigger during that period. I don't want to hate Dandadan. I really like this
my
series.
Point, Quinn. My point is that my ability to have any sense of scope in terms of gratification has been completely ruined forever.
Sure, I recognize no matter what, I'm reading Boruto till I'm 90, I guess. Like Kishimoto will die and then I'll finally be free of the Boruto curse. But until then, yeah.
Holy shit, it got better.
It wasn't until the 7000s that it really started to pick up, but they're finally letting Shino do something now. Look, I'm prepared for that. I don't like this development. I'm going to try to be optimistic because I do think Dandadan has earned the right to do these sorts of things and not immediately get me shitting on it. But man, this is exactly what I did not want to see happen. I was like, I cannot express how much I don't want to drag this out even longer.
This is why we had to have the mini dinner party with Okarun's group, is because we weren't going to get one here because that has not actually been resolved.
Yeah.
Hima-Ten, chapter number 59, Heartwarming Memories. So Kanai is getting like regular relationship consultation, it seems, from Himeno. Mm-hmm. So she reports to her that, when they had that interaction at the train, and she's like, yeah, and he said that I'm cute. And Himeno's like, okay, and what did you say? And Mayu is also there, and she's like, she just said thanks. That's all she said. So Honoka says, like, well, what would you have said? And Himeno says, like, I would have said, like, oh, hearing that makes my day, and I feel like I want to work even harder now. Something like that. The point is, like, you don't make a huge deal out of it, but you keep on getting him to think about you in doing so.
I appreciate also getting my Himori tax done at the start of a chapter. Like the chapter tax you just have to pay of paying attention to this character for a little bit. I just get it out of the way immediately, like a cold open.
Yeah. So, as they get set to leave, Mayu encourages Honoka and says, like, hey, this is great, right? Like, she's on your side. This is great. But Honoka says, like, she's not really on my side. I mean, she's letting me ask for advice, but she's not, like, playing favorites. I still have to actually work for what I want. And then she says something very sweet, which is, you're the best person on my side, Mayu. Aww. And then a nice little friendship moment. Because I feel like Mayu gives Honoka a lot of shit a lot of the time, so it was nice to have that more genuine moment. Honoka has an idea that she runs by Himeno, and Himeno's like, oh yeah, it's a good idea, which is to visit their old middle school and ask Iemori to go with her on the visit. And she says, like, hey, if you go because you're going to see a teacher who's like gonna retire because she's getting married, then that's a great excuse to have him come along with you. It makes it seem like you're not just like trying to do this to get some time alone with him. So we go right into that with Iemori and Honoka go into their old middle school. As they're walking down the street, Iemori kind of gets some memories about how he would talk to Yokomizo about stuff because this was like the route that he would take to school. And he admits to Yokomizo in the flashback, like, oh yeah, I kind of like that girl Kanai. Yokomizo very helpfully was like, yeah, you and everybody else likes her, so Honoka, however, grabs his attention in the present by saying, like, hey, what do you remember about everything? And Iemori just can't stop thinking about how he, had a crush on her. So that's it. They go to the middle school, meet up with their teacher, who seems very cool and very nice. And she says, oh, it's been a while since I've seen you guys. And she's like, oh, when were you when in my class and everything? And they just say, like, yeah, we wanted to visit you because you're leaving and everything. And she says, yeah, I've been a teacher for a really long time, but it's always such a pleasure. I love it when past student couples come to visit. And Iemori is like, we're not together, because I feel like this guy has gotten more and more used to, like, I hang out with individual girls all the time. He's just got that one in the holster ready to go. It's like, we're not romantically involved. No, we're not. Stop that. So teachers gets kind of nosy about it, and so Iamori makes up the excuse that like their other friends just couldn't make it. And then the teacher goes like, "Oh, I don't know. Didn't you, because when we were talking about like what you wanted to do in the future, then didn't you?" And Honoka goes, no, I did not talk to you about anything about like that." And we get a little flashback, which was that she specifically wanted to go to like a high school that Iamori was going to. She's all embarrassed about it, and turns out, Iamori did the same thing.
Oh,
Honoka was going to. Aww. They're not going to get together. So
this legit was one of those chapters where I was like, maybe the Hima-Ten will be ironic. Because
maybe it'll be a friendship.
Yeah, like they learn to be really good co-workers because they don't work as a couple. Because Honoka works so much better. Aw, these cute kids.
Just like one of those really weird things where like there's this idealized form of the other person just being totally okay with it. Like, Iamori and Honoka walking arm in arm, and Himari is just like over in a corner somewhere. It's like, I'm so happy for them while I'm alone.
She has a cat. It's her and the cat. She's fine.
She already has a cat. She's like 16 and she has a cat already. They end up walking around the school after they exchange some niceties with their teacher. They end up going to their second year classroom, and they're like, "Oh, it hasn't changed one bit. It's a classroom. That's right. Yes." It resets every year if any changes are made to it. They get nostalgic about stuff, about sitting near each other and everything. And Honoka gets a little pang because she's like, "I always wanted to sit next to you, Iamori," and now Himari is sitting there instead. They talk about doing class duties and stuff together, cleaning up the blackboard and everything. And Iamori talking to Honoka about how he does, freaking housework. And so he's used to doing cleaning stuff. And he says the strangest compliment. Iamori, Honoka took this as a compliment. And so she might actually be the one, which is, "The way you erased the board is really beautiful."
That was what I was like, what?
What the fuck?
I mean, that is something I could see a kid in middle school saying. I think it's adorable that she took it romantically, because I would almost just be like,
"Don't talk to me."
Like, try again, bud. let's do a mulligan on that.
I will give you one chance to say something else. Anything else.
Pick another.
But it's okay, because in the present, as they're kind of reminiscing about stuff, Iamori's like, "Oh, I bet you don't even remember how that went." And Honoka's like, "No, I do. I'm the first one who realized everything you do, Iamori." Take it back. Take it back a little bit down. That's a very pick-me line.
You're at a 12. You should be like at an 8 right now.
I mean, she goes on to say some very nice things like, "Oh, you're always helping other people. You're very thoughtful. And I realized that your house cleaning was your secret." And Iamori reflects on some of their time together, and he's like, "It's not that big of a deal. And are you okay?" And Honoka says, "I just didn't want you to think that I don't remember." And so she goes on to say, like, "I have been feeling frustrated lately because I do want to get to know you better. And I feel like we're not actually getting any closer." And she thinks to herself, like, he hasn't figured out that I've liked him so much this entire time. And honestly, I do really like just the raw sentiment of, like, we've actually known each other for a really long time amongst our friend group, but, like, it feels like we have not gotten any closer in the time that you've gotten closer with other people. That is a nice emotion to explore, even if it's not in a romantic context. I feel. But before they can go any further into the conversation, their teacher shows up and is like, "Oh, did you have fun?" And like, "Oh yeah, we're going home." So Iamori gets back to his apartment, and he's like, "I feel like I fucked things up with Honoka based on how I reacted with her." And then he's like, "I feel like I'm actually really direct with Himari but I'm really reserved around Hanoka, so I guess she does have a point, and I wonder if I've actually been hurting her feelings because I've been putting her on a pedestal. Which is a very mature thought to have, too. Like, I do think that a lot of people in high school don't realize that they do that with people. Like, if you admire someone so much, it can stop you from seeing them as an actual person that you can bond with in some ways, because you're so busy idealizing what your life together could be like.
Absolutely.
Quinn, I'm sorry. There's been a filing error with your taxes. You need to pay it again.
This is Nick. I'm doing like a slight investment a little early, so we're gonna get a little now.
Don't do that with taxes.
No. Nick, I think my brother-in-law is an accountant. I think I know something about taxes. I say to you, an accountant.
Admittedly, I hate taxes. So
I think we're getting a little extra, so that we pay it off immediately at the start of next chapter again. I think there's a real shot. Mark my words. Nick, certainly don't immediately call me out if this ends up being a super heavy Himono chapter next time.
I'm not going to call you out. I'm just outright predicting right now that when they say tax season in this regard, they mean like a sports season in terms of the length it's going to be.
Yeah, we're look. It may be a heavy chapter next week, but I think it's just a little bit.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's that. By the way, Himeno actually says at the end of this chapter that Hanoka is actually visiting her at the moment. Ooh. Anyway, we will now move on over to Altar of the Flame, chapter 19, Destined Partner. So Dora is like sacrifice his lungs and stuff, and he's gonna drain the wind spirit, and we get Alice saying like, oh, the power of the spirit is here, but I can't hear its voice because he just pulled the power from the spirit, nothing more. And Otter gets really pissed off because he's like, people need that wind because the dock and stuff. There was a whole speech, you weren't there for it, but he told me how important the wind was, and give it back. And he launches himself towards Dora while summoning his fire shield and fire sword and stuff. And Dora goes, shut up! And like air cannons it.
Yeah.
And all the fire blows away. So he tries to summon more fire, and this time he gets vacuumed in by more wind. As he says, I can suck it up too. After all, it is air. That is how air works, yes. Thank you. Otter gets knocked around by like another air cannon thingy. I don't know. There's a lot of like impact lines, so I don't really know what's actually happening. But he's not doing so good. And on top of the fact that's like, it's impossible for Otter to predict how he's going to attack. And also his flames just get blown out every time. Dora summons another thing, and he just cuts off a bunch of the Stonehenge things, and they fall and don't hit anyone. It's very weird because then he says wind is so easy to control, and it's like, yeah, but you missed.
I was gonna say, I was like, he said it's so easy to control. Did he intentionally do nothing with the first strike? Like, I guess that's just his look how cool I am kind of moment, as opposed to being a smart villain and just killing the heroes.
I guess you could argue that, like, oh, they did duck. It's like, yeah, but if you
it's
look at the angle,
so high up.
Like, Otter, Etopirko says to Otter, like, hey, can't you do that thing where you, like, you know, ripped apart the island with a slash of your sword? And Dorodo's like, no, he can't do that because that was probably just him charging up his sword over time and he unleashed it all. See, this is why you don't blast through your meter through the unimportant fight. You save it for the boss when you're approaching the boss fight. But nope, he's got to build up more tension points or whatever they're called in this particular mechanics game. So Etopirko says, like, fine, I'll fight this guy. Charge up your flames. And she takes out her blade skate thingies, but she's got them in her hands. And she says, he can't run until he finishes absorbing the spirit, so I'll buy us time. And Dordor goes, You appeared in his memories, so I know you. You're my least favorite type of person. What is that? What is your least favorite type of person? Can you explain? It might give us a little bit of... Never mind. So, Edipirko fights the guy. Hota, hota, ha, hota, ta, slashy, ha. Yep. And Kutane, who is not a fighter, is like, can I help? And Edipirko says, like, yeah, stay over by Odor so that I can protect you too. Actually makes sense. He was like, stay out of the fucking way. Yeah. Go to one place so I only have to protect one area. Kutane flashes back to when he was a 14-year-old, and he thinks, do I have to be a warrior to protect my allies after all? And it's back to the time when Edipirko set off on her journey. And she's like, yeah, I've got a duty to protect my people and everything. We got to prepare ourselves. And Kutane's like, okay, but why do you have to go? And Edipirko's like, because I'm royalty. And she says, we live off the people's hard-earned tax money, and thus, when people's lives are threatened, we need to protect them, even if it means spilling our own blood. I don't know if any royal has ever said this ever, but good for her.
Yeah.
Kutane, after this, went home to his dad and said, teach me about ships and trade. And he thinks, on that day, Edipirko, as you gazed out at the horizon, you looked incredibly noble. You changed my destiny. I was adrift and you gave me a route ahead. I'm going to keep my eyes focused on my own battlefield, like you did back then, Edipirko. There must be something I can do, and I'm going to find it. And in the present, he looks down at the ground, at the stone that had the wind spirit in it, and he thinks it's time for me to fulfill my own duty, and he goes over to Oter and says, I have a plan.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm excited to see what they do. The fight choreography and using the wind has been, fun and amusing. It's entertaining. And I want to see this guy be cool. Like I'm starting to see the little bits of him that I'm meant to really admire and how it's taking shape, but I'm not like completely invested in him yet at this point. Mm-hmm. So, I'm excited to see what we do in the next couple chapters to try to like really cement this character in my mind.
Yeah. This felt kind of a weak chapter to me in some ways. I don't know. It feels like this is supposed to be like the big characterization moment. Like you were indicating there, it seems to be working more for you than it is for me. I don't know. It feels like we're not getting any actual details and stuff. It's like we've gotten like the framework of like how this moment is supposed to go in a shonen battle thing, and it's like, yeah, but there's not like a real heart to the character that makes it seem like any of that, should have happened yet. We'll see if there's any more to it from here.
Yeah.
Ping-Pong Peril. It's chapter 11. Date in Shibuya. Hey, they're in Shibuya. Who would have guessed? Tyra walking around the streets and is like, well, Mutsuki told me to meet her here. I don't really know what's going on. Man, it's crowded. And then a limousine pulls up and everyone's like, holy shit, a limousine. And Mutsuki comes out. She's looking like casual fashionable. So, she's got the sunglasses and stuff, but it's like, yeah, I feel like that's a good also thing that you could wear just like out for the day.
Yes.
Without, like, yeah.
She is not excessively glamorous.
Mm-hmm. And Tyra's like, oh, wow, she's looking, but Mutsuki goes over to her, and Tyra's like, man, Jesus, you've got your own limo. And Mutsuki's like, no, I just rented that because I wanted to look rich. I have no idea what. But, so.
She's such a confusing character in so many ways, and I love it.
She seems like she's really rich, but also not that rich.
Yeah, there's quite a few times in this chapter where she kind of comments, she's like, I'm not loaded.
Like, are you sure? Like, you handle millions of yen casually. It feels like you are kind of rich. So, Tyra goes into this anticipating, like, okay, so, like, we met up because you've got another Ping-Pong Peril for me, right? And I also just got the promotion. He's got the level 5 badge still with him. And, he's like excited because it's like, this way I can compete for more money. And Musuki warns them, like, yeah, well, even with that badge, if you actually face someone who's a lower rank than you, it's still only 1 million. So that's something to keep in mind going forward. Taira asks, like, okay, so what am I going to do today? Where is my competition? And Musuki takes him into an arcade and just goes, put this on. And it's a VR headset. He gets to ride like it's like a light cycle thing, like from Tron. And he's like, am I playing VR ping pong? And there's an attendant there. It's like, it's a virtual reality motorcycle racing game. Enjoy yourself. Who am I fighting against? Well, there's all these other racers are on the screen. What about my racket? You don't need that to race a motorcycle. This very helpful attendant who has no idea what's going on.
Yeah, she's like, why is this boy asking about ping pong so much?
They go and get food afterwards, and Taira's like, what's going on? And Musuki's like, I thought boys liked VR games like that, so I thought you would enjoy it. And Taira's like, I mean, it was fun, but what's going on? Like, why'd you take me to a super expensive buffet? And Musuki says, like, I'm celebrating your promotion, and hey, enjoy yourself. I took time out of my busy schedule to go on a date with you. Which, obviously, it's manipulative, because Taira is also just like, why does she think this is a reward for me? Just to me, is giving off vibes of like, I'm not really into this girl. But and also he's just convinced like there's some sort of trick to this. There's some sort of trick to this, and the buffet. There could be a thing here. There could be at any moment there could be an opponent that comes out. The one thing that connects us is Ping-Pong Peril. That's all we have in common here. And so he starts trying to talk to her. Like, hey, those admins that came and visited us. What's up with that? You said it was your job to make sure games run smoothly. What's that mean? Are you an admin? And she says, no. I'm more like a part-time worker for them, kind of. It's like a subsidiary business, and I'm also like at the bottom of the ladder within the organization. And so Taira's like, well, why are you involved? I get paid. Good answer. I mean, so Taira says, well, what's like the admin's goal then? All the players earn money that gets bet during the matches, and they even like hire part-timers to help them out. There's this huge underground tournament where they don't actually take the winnings from players. What's going on with this? The admins say they watch the matches, and Musuki goes, stop thinking about it.
I do really like that, because on one level, he's bringing up all the questions we should be asking. Like,
salient.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, this doesn't financially make sense. How does this work? And she is like, no, let's not worry about that part right now. So we should be, as audience members, also like asking ourselves these questions. Now I'm very curious, like, what does the admin get out of watching and setting up elaborate high stakes ping pong matches?
It's a great way of handling it, because it's like, hey, if we never get around to addressing this, it's like, shut up, stop thinking about that. And it's just, we're doing lethal ping pong matches, but at the same time it is establishing, hey, we do have world building that we can do if we get into that. Mm-hmm. It's a nice way of addressing it without yet fully addressing it.
Yes.
Taira, because Musuki was like, just stop focusing on that. You're just here to get out of debt and earn that billion yen. And Taira's like, yeah, you're right. We are only like, the only thing we have in common is Ping-Pong Peril and money, right? And Musuki's like, I'm not doing this because I want money. And she says, I am interested in the admins too. If we want to get close to them, I needed to associate with talented competitors. And the admins came all the way out to introduce themselves. The one who took your debt and started a relationship, that's me. So don't forget that, you dummy. And she grabs him by the face while standing in front of him and says, I chose you, Taira Mikado. And like people are like looking at them now, because that very much does have like connotations like, oh, that girl is holding that guy's face while saying she chose him. And Taira goes, you're kind of embarrassing me right now. Mm-hmm. The two of them have a day around Shibuya together, and they get, some sweets. They go and see the sights. They go shopping, and Mutsuki gets out her black card because she's rich. She actually is rich. But I do like the little note that's like she just decided to use it because she wanted Tyra to be impressed by it.
And he was. He's 100% impressed by it. It's like, what a great call to make. Even I was like, oh, now I kind of want to say, like, I'll use my MasterCard Platinum or whatever.
So then the two of them are crossing the street in, the big freaking square in the middle of the bureau. And she says, like, yeah, man, I could go all night. I want to kind of go to a club. And Musuki's like, I'm going to show off my stuff. And she starts doing, like, a really bad robot while she's demonstrating. And Tyra's like, what are you doing? But then he's like, oh, and thanks for buying some clothes for me and for Momo. And then as they're crossing the street, he runs into Pari Hebizuka, a member of the Nanabishi corporate team and former Olympian. And, oh shit, Tyra goes, it's been forever since I've seen you, Coach Hebizuka. I'm so glad I ran into you. What a coincidence.
That's the best part. He's like, oh god, it's not a coincidence.
And right next to him, Mutsuki's like, all right, Ping-Pong Peril. She spent like 3 hours with this boy being like, I'm just hanging out. It's just a good time. We're not doing Ping-Pong Peril. Ping-Pong Peril, let's go. So Tyra's like, shit, this is bad because I played this guy a lot in middle school. And it feels like not only did I never win, but it seemed like he was never even taking me seriously. He is on a completely different level from every opponent I've had thus far. And Mutsuki points down below them and says, yeah, you guys are going to be using the Shibuya Scramble Crossing as your table. The pedestrians crossing the street are your table. You have to bounce the ball off their heads.
I lost it at this point when I was like, yo, having a ping pong match across Shibuya Crossing using people's heads is a really funny escalation for this series.
And, Tyra's like, this is ridiculous. It's not going to be parallel sides in this match. And Mizuki goes, it'll be mostly parallel.
Mostly? I love this so much.
But Musuki says that in addition, the second bounce must happen on the head of someone on a different block than the one you're in. Otherwise, you two are just going to end up stealing each other's serves whenever there's a red light. And so that's an interesting twist on it. Mm-hmm. You have to actually manipulate the ball between the 4 blocks that they're between. So Tyra's like, all right, it's Ping-Pong Peril, got to do this. And it is a level 5 bet, so they're each wagering 5 million yen. But as Hebizuka walks away, he says, I'd like to bet something too. And Mutsuki says, okay, but it has to be something that Tyra can also bet, though. And Hebizuka says, nah, 5 million is enough for me. This is actually more me just making a declaration. I'm going to bet the 986 million that I've already earned on this match. And gets out his full-on bank account that has all those zeros on it. And Tyra just has a moment of, what? And Hebizuka says, like, yeah, I'm just going to win. But I want you to understand, this single victory would be worth it to me. And Musuki's like, shit, if Tyra wins, he will get most of his debt paid off in one go. But what is this? Is this even possible? And Tyra's like, I don't know if I can even do this against this guy. But then he remembers his sister, the position they're in, and he goes, got it. I'm gonna win. All right.
I think this is cool. A lot of people in our chat are understandably noting about this might mean the series isn't doing great if we're introducing a very important rival character who, if he gets beaten, will eliminate most of Tyra's debt. But I truly just enjoyed the notion of playing a ping pong match across people's heads. I think that is such a funny idea, and I will enjoy every gloriously stupid second of this series.
Yeah, I mean, this could very well just be one of those things where it's like, hey, it's around the time that we introduce a rival that our protagonist is hopelessly far away from conquering at this current stage. And, it's not like Tyra is going to be completely wiped out in this match if he loses the 5 million. He's got enough that he can handle it.
Yeah. The series established also earlier on, you can lose a couple matches in Ping-Pong Peril and you're not like just knocked out.
Right. So this could just very well be like, yeah, he just loses to this guy.
Yeah.
And it gives him a goal an obstacle to overcome in the future.
Yes. I assume that's going to be what happens.
Okay, next up is Someone Hurts. All right, Someone Hurts. Someone out there. Chapter number 2, You Are Funny. So Mizuo and Mimei are hanging out. Mizuo is like, hey, how are things doing in the student council? Are you going to make nationals? That's actually really funny to me. That's a very nice little low-key joke there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, of course, they're still doing their thing about, getting jokes read on the air and their favorite comedy radio program thing. So Mimei's like, oh, my stuff didn't get read this time. But he looks around and is like, I have actually been like sending in submissions, but Jesus, sending in hundreds of submissions to get read once on the air, that'd be like really difficult to do. But he looks up at his, his study calendar and all of his goals that have been set. And he's like, maybe if I like set a goal for myself, then I could have something to actually aim for. Maybe I should like first start up being like, I'm going to get 3 entries read off, blah, blah, blah. Thinks about Mizuo for a bit and how he's recently learned that she is the super joke writer that has gotten a bunch of stuff read on there, and notes, my life's been totally flipped on its head. I don't know. It doesn't really feel like your life would change in too many ways if you learned that. Your social life with one person, certainly. But he's got a lot going on, is all I'm saying. He's a student council member. He does all these extra club things. Anyway. Yeah. Mizuo shows up. They talk for a bit. And she mentions Listener Quotient is underway. Listener Quotient? Yes, when Mon Mid reads off your joke mail, the Cinder is given points. Once every 6 months, the top 10 duke it up for supremacy and one-liners. Live on air in a competition called Listener Quotient. And Mizuo gets all fired up and she's punching the air and she's like, I made it to the finals last time, but I missed out on winning the whole shebang. Okay?
I love that in this universe there is like a 8 a.m. or a 3 a.m. comedy show on Monday mornings that has the budget to run like tournaments and stuff like this.
Live on the air. We're going to get 10 participants who are just regular listeners to this show to show up at 3 a.m.
This seems ancient even nowadays. Like, I'm like, this industry hasn't been digitized to some extent.
Yeah, I don't really know that either. Let's see. I'm just kind of checking. Yeah. Sorry, I wanted to see how Ping-Pong Peril's been doing, and I'm going to ignore that now. Mimei, for some reason, is like, I wonder what a day in Eel Potato's life even looks like. You spend a lot of time around this girl. You know what a lot of her life is like. Yeah. But he decides to actually like dedicate the day to actually paying more attention to her and like kind of what she's up to. And a thing that he notices about her is like, when she's just like hanging out with people, she just like says jokes sometimes that nobody even picks up on.
She is a true comedian. She is absolutely the true tail sign of a comedian is when they physically cannot stop doing bits at any point in their life, no matter who they're with. They're still trying to go for the punchlines, and everyone's like, I'm sorry, what did you say?
I mean, she's got some good jokes when you think about them for a bit, because she's like, oh yeah, I've been drawing circulator art, and everyone's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Mimei thinks, she mean fan art, like a circulator fan? And then there's someone who's like, oh, you've got really squishy cheeks, and she says, man, I must get it for my little brother.
The second one, I was like, that's like a family circus level like haha chuckle. The first one, I was straight like, this just doesn't translate, I assume.
It's because most of the things that we know don't call it a circulator. I think it's more common in Japan. So. Mime kind of tails Mizuho and is like, I wonder what she gets to do after school. And then she like goes to a vending machine and she like talking to it like she's a talent scout. Very weird. And
never stop doing bits, Nick. You physically can't.
Someone approaches her and is like, hey, you want to start prepping for the group presentation? And she's like, yeah, where are we going to do it? On a backstreet window? And Mime's like, oh my god, she's just making some random reference to like a thing during it. And so someone's also like, the library, you want to do it at a library? She's like, yeah, there's a lot of bookshelves there, yeah. Waka waka. Yep. So he keeps on telling her even as they go to the class project thing, so goes into the library and is hiding like a creeper. And Mizuho just kind of sneaks up on him and takes him by surprise. And so she's like, hey, have you come up with some one-liners for the radio show? And so Mime's like, stop that. And she's like, man, you're being really cold to me. Didn't we have like a secret rendezvous late at night? It's like, we went to the park and listened to the program, yes. And they do a little thing where like, he just, very snappily replies to a remark that she makes. And she has a little chuckle over it. It's like, yeah, you're the only one that can actually like make a comeback to what I have to say to them. Which is actually very sweet. Like there is a synergy to them and there's a rhythm to them. And that is nice because we have just had demonstrated like, yeah, she's constantly telling all these jokes and everyone just looks at her like she's weird. And he's the guy who like gets her and understands her. So that's nice. I do think that a lot of her jokes aren't actually that funny because they don't translate that well. But the sentiment is nice.
I get her attitude. Even if the jokes don't translate, I get what like they're trying to express with her character, and I enjoy that a lot. It's very nice to just have like a female character who's allowed to be very funny, and be a little silly weirdo, and it's cute. I actually see why you would want to make this like a romance series in a way too, because it's very cute when you find someone who can kind of be your kind of same level of wit and like humor. It's something, it's a strong trait you want in a partner.
Yes. I have nothing further to add to this sentiment.
Indeed. Carry on.
It's not like my wife has said that one of the main reasons that she was attracted to me is because she thought I was funny. Which is great because I don't think I had anything else to go on.
Nick, what are you talking about? You're so tall.
You're taller than me. But in any case, like, Mizuho says like, hey, it's not just that you're fun to chat with, you're also funny. And Mime gets a little moment like, Potato just freaking called me funny. And he gets kind of flustered over it. And he's like, I think like just kind of have like a thing like for like being, thought of that way. But then he looks at Mizuho and she's got her backpack on with all of her like, red on the air keychain things that she's gotten. And he's only got the one. And he thinks Mizuho and I are worlds apart. So he reflects on that as like, if I just get 3 entries read out, that's not going to be enough for me because she's probably going to get like 10 entries read out. My goal is to be recognized by the long hopes on Mon Mid, and I can't get complacent. I have to surpass Eel Potato 2! And so he addresses Mizuho directly and says, like, I want to become funnier than Eel Potato and win the listener quotient. And then he realized, like, that's kind of, maybe I shouldn't have said that. And Mizuho just goes, yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah. I like it. It's a cute little moment.
Yeah. Mime again reflects on how Mizuho had previously said, like, oh, I can't fall in love with anyone unless they're funnier than Eel Potato. And she starts to say, like, yeah, and if you get to be funnier than me, and then she finishes the thought, then you'll be able to speak casually to me. He's like, we already speak casually. Yes, that is true. But she warns him, like, I am going to be seriously trying to win as well. So we're opponents now. Also, I currently have 20 points and you have 1, so good luck. And then we end on what I think is actually Mizuho's funniest joke in the chapter, because she says, like, oh, you wanted to know some more about me? Well, my favorite pizza is large.
But it is funny. She's very adorable and cute. I liked it a lot. Fun little chapter, and even though the jokes don't translate, I feel like the energy is translating. I don't know. I find this series be a little adorable.
I wish that Mime were a little bit more personable. I feel like it's hard to latch on to what he wants to do because we have the whole like it's the framing of his goal is a very shonen thing, even though it is a small thing. But it doesn't feel like we've got a real sense of excitement about it, even with him setting out like why he wants to do that in a number of different regards thus far. And I think that that's just because outside of like when he's writing jokes and stuff, he's just kind of just a very regular guy. And I know that that's the point, but there can also be regular boring guys portrayed in a way that is more endearing than this.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Yeah, I guess we shall see, but I'm having fun with it. Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi. I don't know where the chapter title is.
It's called Exorcist Reunion. And Kiyoshi at the beginning launches off one of his exorcist attacks, and he's at full power again. He's made a full recovery. Hooray! And he does this like in the backyard at the Hitsugi mansion. So all of the servants' kids are out there cheering him on and being like, I want to learn how to do that. Will you teach me? And Kiyoshi bows to Dr. Hitsugi and says, thank you so much for all your help. And he's like, yeah, we're going to hold a party. They just kind of do a very quick next day. And so Kiyoshi's leaving, says goodbye to all the servants and families. And the doctor says, you might be able to use Priest of Power again, but you're not fully recovered yet. So don't forget what you promised me. And he puts his hand on Kiyoshi's shoulder and says, once you're fully recovered, then your Priest of Power will be stronger than ever and reach even greater heights. This is where we say goodbye. Kiyoshi says, I was really happy staying here with you. And the doctor gives him a big hug and says, aww, come back anytime. Our home is your home. Aww.
Oh, that's very cute.
And everyone suddenly realizes that Sosuke is missing, and it's just because he wanted to pose on the wall outside the mansion, I guess. And he's like, why is everyone being so sentimental? It's not like this is goodbye forever. And he immediately gets called out and is like, you're just really upset because you have to say goodbye now. Sosuke stands up so that he can have like everything blowing in the wind dramatically. And he says, I'll be on an even higher stage next time we meet. I'm not going to lose to you, Kiyoshi. And Kiyoshi says, well, that's just what I want. And then we cut over to the Gates of Hell restaurant, and Sosuke drops Kiyoshi off at the front door.
This is the best joke of the week. I thought it's so funny that he does like the big cool, like, what? The next time we meet, I'm not going to lose. And then it's him like, say hi to your dad for me.
It drops him off at the car. But he doesn't even leave Kiyoshi at that point because they both hear a barking, and my goodness, it's Cook the Exorcist chicken!
I vaguely had a memory of this thing.
So he's being assaulted by, I guess, the Gates of Hell's pet dog? I don't remember this guy. But Kiyoshi is reunited with Cook, and then they realize that must mean who could possibly be there? It's Mr. Tosaka! And he is visiting. Of course, we now know that he is the director of the Dandadan Town branch office. And they're like, how are you doing? And he's congratulates Kiyoshi on his quick recovery, and also them on their great work during the Black Parade. But Sosuke notices that someone else is there. Toji Shuten of the Demon Realm Special Forces. Legasp! And Shuten was that guy who was one of the testers at the during the Paladin exam, who just kind of like came up with reasons to pass people. Like, yeah, I like that vibe. You pass. So here he is, and he's like, I knew it. You, my eyes were perfect. I saw the potential in you. So he gives himself a little like, yeah, good job. They have a meal, And then Tuska gets them more up to speed and says, like, yeah, I know that that you guys are way far ahead, but I'm not going to lose. And then they're asked, like, what are you guys doing here, by the way? And Tuska says that they are, excuse me,
he sneezes.
Investigating.
That was a diegetic noise.
Tuska says that they're doing an environmental survey, and they just decide to swing by at the end. And Tuska says, yeah, we got to go fetch our commander. And Kiyoshi's like, oh, your commander, that's cross-paladin Goro Shishido, isn't it? And Sosuke's like, yeah, I've heard the name, but I've never seen their face. And, and this Shuten says, like, yeah, well, Shishido rarely ever even shows up, because he's mostly just in the demon realm. So they're asked, like, why do you guys have to go and get him? And they learn very quickly off screen, like, yeah, he's gone missing. Hasn't checked in for 3 weeks. And Shuden says, like, yeah, he's often, like, disappearing for this, but this is a very long length of time for him to be gone. Even more concerning, he would never miss one of his favorite idols' concerts. And both Sosuke and Kiyoshi are like, wait, that's why you're so worried? And Sakaki goes, he missed one of his favorite idols' concerts.
My man almost faced death 3 times in that fight in the Black Parade, and he did not ever look as scared as he looked in that moment there.
And then Shuten's like, yeah, so that's why me and Tuska had to go to the idol concert in his place. What a weird joke. So they're like, yeah, it might be possible that he's run into some trouble that's preventing him from coming back, so we're going to go. And they start to leave, but Sakaki is like, hey, Kiyoshi, why don't you join him in the demon realm? That'll be good for your rehabilitation if you go to the demon realm while you're healing. But and he also says, like, you can help them out in their search, and if you're planning to be a cross paladin, you should meet him. It'll be a good experience for you. And also, Sakaki's like, you go too, Sosuke. And Sosuke's like, why do I have to go? Well, you want to be a cross paladin too? Yeah, okay, good point. So, yep, Tuska is reunited with Sosuke and Kiyoshi, but this time Shuten is there with them as well. But Shuten says this is not going to be like Memento Forest. If you're dead weight, I'm leaving you to die. And you're not going to complain if I do that, right, Sakaki? And Sakaki's like, yeah, it'll be fine. And Shuten says, I'll admit that you two are strong, but you're newbies to the demon realm, so don't hold us back. And we get a cool team pose, like, squad. And they're going to go and fetch Shishido, the missing cross paladin.
Cool. I think it's going to be a fun little adventure. Sosuke is the best part of the series, so absolutely bring him along. And it just seems like a fun little adventure for these guys to go on.
Yeah, there was a lot of fun stuff in this chapter. Great jokes at the beginning, great jokes in the middle. I really like this. Again, I'm excited to, like, hey, I want to know more about this Shuten guy who has not been around very much since that introduction. He's got a ponytail that looks like a monkey tail. What's up with that?
Also, just kind of pumped to be excited about Kiyoshi again. It's been a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, good times.
It's nice.
All right, we have MarriageToxin. We usually get excited about that one. This is chapter 140.
Yeah, it's chapter 140. Last time, Garo was getting set to use his full ultimate technique, Poison Blood Unleashed, and do it, motherfuckers. That's what we got this. I would be shitting my pants if this happened. If I full on went, and the guy's like, here, let me help you aim. Like,
get it right here, center at the chest. You're like, oh no.
Put all your nuts into this. So oh gosh, what is his actual name? Because I keep on just remembering he's called Sensei.
Nasu.
Nasu, yeah. So he's like, just like, yeah, I'm not going anywhere. And Garo is like, I get it. He's trying to show me the overwhelming difference between us by conquering my ultimate move. And then he's like, no, that's the bluff he's trying to pull, using the fear implanted in me But I've moved beyond his teachings. I've polished my technique on my own throughout this marriage journey. And he gives us up a huge surge of poison between his palms and fires it. And Nasu falls to his knees as Gero pants for breath. And Nasu goes, "This is too cruel." And he's crying because Gero's so fucking weak, he makes him upset.
Yeah, I would retire. I don't have the stones at that point. If someone took my strongest attack and were like, "Oh, you're so weak," I'd be like, "Yeah, I am. I'm sorry."
He lunges forward and grabs Gero by the neck and hoists him up off the ground and says, "Is this all you have to show after the 21 years we spent together? Was it all for naught?" And Gero is like actually briefly shocked at how upset Nasu is before he starts to squeeze, and Gero senses death is about to come for him. And then Nasu uses his other hand and cuts his arm off at the elbow. What the fuck?
This dude's got way too much charisma. Like he's too cool.
I know he's the doll user, and maybe this is not going to have anything, but that looks like a lot of blood that's coming out of him. That might be a real injury.
Maybe it's supposed to be just oil or something like that, but I think, in this medium, you could definitely make it be like, "Ooh, it looks like blood." I think this dude just cut his arm off. He seems pretty crazy.
Shiori, fair bone steward, goes, she's so freaked out by this. But Nasu says, "I apologize. I must stay positive. I swore to myself I would not abandon this generation. There is still hope." And he looms over Shiori, who is petrified with fear. And he just looks at her with his creepy eye, and she just collapses unconscious from it. And then Nasu turns to Gero and says, "It's not only Urashino-san. Once I confirmed their feelings for you, I also took Himekawa-san and Akakura-san into the Gero family residence. And you too, Hikaru-sama, shall be spending some time at home for a while. If you can produce offspring with them." Click! Oh. The fuck?
Oh,
who did that?
He was just about to start talking about sex.
And someone comes dashing in, grabs Gero, hoists him over their shoulders, slides the window open, and leaps out of the building and starts running to safety. And Gero is barely conscious, just thinks, "Who is this? What's happening to me?" But he knows that Urashino and Himekawa and Akakura are all captured now. And of course, Arashiyama and Ushio and Hime are all in danger. And lastly, to Kinosaki, he apologizes because he could not help them. And then he falls unconscious as he is being hauled away to safety. Shiori left behind by the mysterious helper, notably. So she, it seems, will be in captivity along with Himekawa and Akakura.
Yes.
Nasu says to himself as he watches them leave, "In that case, I shall wait and carefully prepare their bed chambers." Ugh, stop it.
There's got to be a less creepy way to say that.
Somewhere in the woods, a naked lady snuggling with a giant wolf is on the phone and says, "Are you certain about this? A debt to me will cost you."
It's
And
the new Beast Clan leader.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't remember her name, but she took over. I don't know why she's naked. I guess it's just a thing she does now.
Is it just what she does?
Yeah. I thought she had clothes on before, but it's been a long time. I may have forgotten.
Yep. And meanwhile, on the other line, it's Kinosaki, who says, "Please, I can't let things go on any longer than they already have." And Tonako says, chuckles to herself and says, "Devotion to a man who isn't even your mate. You reek of so much humanity. It's lovely." And that's it. That's our chapter. Yeah, a little bit of a downer, but also exciting for the future because, like, hey, we've got like a an enemy established. There's gonna have to be like probably a really big training arc in front of us in some regard because Garo's got to get stronger if he's going to protect the people important to him.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad, but I think, the best stories have moments where the heroes just straight up lose. And this is one of those moments. Like, he had to leave Shior behind. He wasn't going to win. Someone just had to, like, take a shot and rescue him. We don't even know who that is yet. I think that's really cool. I like that Kinosaki has something going on with the Beast Clan leader. I like that it's like, what's Garou gonna do with the 3 girls who aren't in captivity? Is he gonna immediately be like, I need you guys to be around me so I can protect you? Or like, I'm just curious, like, what's he gonna do now going forward? It's just super interesting. Good stuff.
It's an interesting divide between them too, because like of the people that have been captured and the people who are not, obviously Arashiyama and Ushio, they have skill sets as specialty users, but Himi is just kind of a person. So it'll be interesting if they do have to make some sort of group effort to try and rescue the others, like what her role in that would be.
Yeah.
Especially because we've not gotten to see her do much of anything. She is definitely the least explored out of the 6 girls in the group.
And I wonder if that is not intentional, but that is what this is meant to kind of fix up, Nick, is like, we're going to get a focus on all 3 of these girls going forward. Or this will break my heart, and it's when Team 8 and Team 7 were going to join together, and Sheena was finally going to get to do something cool, Nick.
Oh, he just phases through my bugs, so I guess that I'm useless.
I discovered something important. Oh, that's all I do? Okay, goodbye for the rest of the series.
Okay, I guess that I'll just, like eventually show up as a teacher for some reason. With my very relatable and skill that I can just pass on to all the students of the next generation.
Guys, just channel it through the ants inside of your body. Why is it so hard?
Mr. Shino, I don't have any ants in your body. All right, homework. Everyone ate 200 ants today.
The bugs start like whispering in his ear. He's like, "Oh, it turns out you were supposed to like have them breed into your body. You weren't just supposed to eat them. I'm so sorry."
I'm told that it's a very painful process, but I was too young to remember it, and I guess that you guys are all like 12. So, yeah, good luck.
Yeah, sorry. These scars are gonna hold a little bit stronger, I think, for you, unfortunately. All right,
New
Nick.
Exorcist.
New Exorcist. Let's get to the series everyone's excited for.
At least this. I'm trying. At least it's not Boruto. Chapter 118, An Outrageous Man. Yeah, so last time Gakuro was told that in order to get help from Natsuki of the Exorcist Bureau that he needs to marry her. And Gakuro in the present, as he's just met her, is like, "Oh, there's no way I'm worthy of that. But she works for the Bureau. She must be super devoted to her job, and I don't see why she would ever give me the time of day. But I have to do this, no matter how slim my chances are." Meanwhile, Natsuki, of course, in the last chapter was just like, he's totally my type. The manga glass of persona is my Bible for getting along with people, and this boy looks a whole lot like my very favorite character, Mei Tokiwa. On top of that, this is just like the scene where Mei's venture finally goes public, and a huge corporation's president makes good on his promise and has him introduced to his daughter. So is even his work ethic the same as Mei's?
It's so cool.
Know, it feels like you've gotten a lot from a guy who's just been standing in front of you for 10 seconds.
I was gonna say, like, it's so cool. Gakuro looks exactly like a character who already has all these super admirable traits associated with them that we could just immediately make this girl fall head over heels for Gakuro in a heartbeat.
There's that classic rule in writing of show, don't tell. This is the unheard of writing of don't tell about someone else. And let that be your explanation.
Yeah, this is why Gakuro is cool. A character and a manga character in that universe is like him.
Natsuki says, like, well, but I've got to be professional about this. And she says, what are you here for? And Gakuro says, "Oh, I need your help with something, princess." And the head of the Exorcist Bureau, Suga, says he wants to marry you in order to borrow your power. And Natsuki is immediately like, "What? What? 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 No! I can't do that! What is happening?" And she brings up, like, I have to spend all my time performing my duties, and you are a captain. Clearly, you would have to work as well. How on earth do you expect us to raise a child? Which, honestly, that is a little funny. That she's immediately just like, yeah, you're immediately jumping to how are we gonna have a baby? It's like, well, that was not being discussed until you brought it up. Yeah.
We were at marriage, ma'am.
Yeah. So, but she says, like, if I cooperate with you, that would require us to shut down the entire restoration squad. Can you really ask me for help, even knowing that? And Gakuro apparently did not know the scope of what her duties were, and so that brings her hesitance. But Branchhead Suga is like, it's fine. He defeated Suzaku. So, yeah, they're worth taking a risk on. It's fine. But Natsuki says, like, no, though. Like, this is still, like, too much of a sacrifice that we would have to make in order to do that. And Gakuro does not get a chance to talk because she says, if you want to talk that badly, then I will hear you about at length later on. Do you have a line account? So strange. Nue, who just can't let anything happen naturally ever, says, I have an idea. Let's have time that you spend together before you make your decision. Will you let Gakuro stay at your mansion for a day? And Natsuki's like, yeah, sure, fine. And then they're like, okay, yeah, let's let that settle things. And then freaking Suga is like, hey, Dorio, this is Captain Suga of the 3rd Division. He shows up, and he's like, oh, yes, Captain Yajima, I heard about your exploits. Good job. I'm proud that I chose you to be a captain. And Gakuro's like, thank you, sir! And then he spots Natsuki and immediately turns into that character. You know the one. And so Suga punches him for being that character. You know the one. And, yep. Suga is like, you are an embarrassment to the Sugas. And that's that. And so, yep. Gakuro immediately is like, the captain's so cool, even though he just saw that happen. And then immediately, the fucking Dorio's like, if you lay a finger on my niece, you're dead. Okay. Anyway, Gakuro goes to go and have a conversation with Natsuki, and who fucking knocks in this world? He just fucking opens that door, not announcing his presence. Just, wouldn't you know it? She's fucking she's in her underwear, Quinn. And she's got a weird cartoon icon on her butt in that underwear, and Gakuro's like, oh, I'm so sorry, and she actually is like really cool about it. She's like, it's fine, I'm decent now, it's fine, come in. And yep, that happens. But they sit down to talk. Natsuki actually is very gracious at first because she's like, I understand that you saved all the non-combatants in your battle with Suzaku. You have my gratitude, which I do appreciate that she like is able to has that priority in that regard for certain things. And Gakuro brings up like, oh, is that why you like wanted to talk to me and gave me permission and invited me to your room because you were thankful for that? And Natsuki gets a little bit soon as like, is that not all right? And Gakuro's like, no, it's fine. It was fine. And Natsuki says, personally, I understand how much defeating the Hyo means. However, this operation lacks something crucial, the plausibility. Not everyone will believe that defeating the Hyo would be worth stopping the Restoration Squad and risking death. That is how drastic stopping the Restoration Squad would be. As a captain, you understand how reluctantly organizations move. And Gakuro counters this by saying, if being persuasive is important, you mean it would be all right as long as I demonstrate I can defeat a Hyo without the Restoration Squad and with no damage. Okay. And so Natsuki's like, if you could do that, then I would help you, and that I wouldn't be opposed to marriage. And she's all embarrassed, and she's very, very self-conscious about this. And she's like, "Oh my god, I just acted so embarrassing, and now I feel my crush is overwhelming. And he seems so naive. He doesn't have much experience with women, clearly, but it's okay because I'm the same way." And then Gakura goes, "By the way, 3 women have told me they love me."
It did get a good laugh out of me because it is such an absurd line that she has the correct response of 3.
It was like, what the fuck? But didn't he say that he came here wanting to marry me? 3 other women? What the hell? And Gakura says, "But I was actually planning not to choose any of them. They're all far too good for me. Rejecting any of them would be unforgivable. At the summer festival, I meant to tell them that I couldn't date any of them, but I'd support them all the rest of their lives. But Nue knew, and she stopped me, and then the fight with Suzuku changed how I thought. In that fight, Aramine risked her life to protect me, and Fujino, Sujita, Senpai, I realized back then that all of them loved me as if their lives depended on it. That means it's not okay for me to be a coward about this. I need to tackle it just as hard as the rest of them. If they say it's okay, I want to find a way to make them all happy." Gakura, you've talked about this with 0 of them. You've talked about this with 0 of them. What is wrong with you?
I like that his plan until just recently was to be like, "Sorry, I suck so much I couldn't possibly date any of you. In fact, I won't even give you the choice. I'm unilaterally deciding none of us shall date. Goodbye forever."
Whenever a girl tells me she likes me, it triggers my flight response, and I freeze every time. I just decide the best thing for me to do is nothing, because if I say yes to any of them, that'll make things worse for the girl that I pick, because then she'll be stuck with me.
Like, my gosh, this kid has such bad self-esteem. It's like, dude, you have so many girls fawning after you. Try to have a little confidence in yourself.
Natsuki has the very understandable reaction of just thinking this man is totally outrageous. And she's like, "I don't get it. Like, what the fuck is he even talking about? Make them all happy." And how did we get from him marrying me to whatever the heck this is?
She's like, "Why am I hearing about this?"
Honestly, like, Natsuki might be in my top 5 new Exorcist characters just because she's having normal reactions to Gakuru's weird love life. And, you know, she's like, what is with this guy? He's exerting this weird will even over "I'll make all my companions happy." Is that the only choice he can take? But that drive to save everything is really consistent. And so she says, "Look, I take pride in what I do, and I'm not going to help you if it means abandoning it. But custom also dictates the engagement is necessary, and I cannot discard it. However, there is one way for you to ignore both these things and gain my power. It involves immense risk. If you fail, you will be expelled from the Exorcist Bureau. It isn't a thing I'd ordinarily recommend, but your resolution has changed my mind. What will you do?" And Gakura goes, "Yeah, I'll do that." And that's our chapter. Oh boy, another thing.
I don't hate this new character, as you said. She's kind of fun, and I kind of like her design in like the dumb way this series keeps escalating. I just think Gakuro is so boring as a lead character because he's never changing, but he's also still deeply annoying. Like, I feel like even now he still will generally be uncertain about things until it's time for him to be brave. And it's just, I don't know. It's a boring loop to go over again. It is like, answer is, I'll just make them all happy. And full end, you know? Like, there's nothing more to consider about that. I'm like, I don't know. It just seems like the boring answer that doesn't actually delve into anything.
Yep. Oh, Jesus. All right. So, we've got Akane-banashi last.
Yes.
Because there's
no One Piece. Yes.
Story 175. Can you reach? We flash all the way back to Isho giving the oh gosh, I wanted to say addendum, but that's not it. It's the ultimatum. That's
yes.
it. To Akane, no laughing. Show you can win without making the audience laugh. And we see that he can actually overheard that conversation. And he now in the present tunes in, wondering how Akane is going to handle that challenge. And of course, Akane has just taken the stage. Very, very cool full page of the sequence of her seating and bowing. I just like how, there's the zoom in and everything seems very, very perfectly framed.
Yes.
So, of course, her story is about, the ways that someone can be cheap. And she starts off by saying there is a way of referring to someone who is cheap, which is muika shirazu, doesn't know 6 days. So you can count 5 days on your fingers by going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, making a fist. But then if you count the 6th day, you have to release your hand. A cheapskate will never let go of something once they've grasped onto it. It's a little neat. But she breaks into her story about a very cheap father and son. And as the father is walking along the riverbank, he trips on a rock, falls in, and starts desperately calling for help. And his son can't swim, so can't help him. So he calls over for someone to help, and the person stops and says, "Well, how much will you pay me?" And the son's like, "Well, he's going to drown and die." Yeah, I could save him, but what's in it for me? What's it worth to you? And so the son says, 1 Rio, 1 Rio, 5 Rio. And so 2 Rio, 5 Rio. Oh, come on, 3 Rio. And the guy, no, 5 Rio. If you want me to save him, pay up 5 Rio. But as he's drowning, the father goes, 5 Rio is too much. Talk him down to 3. That is so fucking funny. And she says this, and of course, people start laughing in the audience. And immediately, everyone like Hikaru and Karashi and Tyson will go, she just made the audience laugh. So, well, yeah, I guess she did. And Tyson goes, that is normal. But she expressed how important it was for her to win everything. And Karashi thinks, this feels wrong. I mean, she could, if she changes her strategy, sure. But if she did it like yesterday and accentuate the comic side of the story, that'd be one thing. But she's just talking very naturally. She's not like going in hard for laughs. Has her execution slipped? And then he realizes, no, she's not actually intending for that. She's not trying to make them laugh. We cut back in with Iken, who thinks to himself, the funny parts, the sad parts, performers will do their own flavoring, trying to get the most out of the twists and turns of the story. But the story they're trying so hard to improve is a classic dish that's been beloved over the ages. Show it off as it is. The classics are designed to make the audience laugh without any extra work. The performer shouldn't add anything to force them to laugh. That was Master Isho's meaning and his lesson. So can you reach that state of mind? And we cut back to the moment where Akane was on the beach at night and thinking to herself, I've got a good grasp of it, but it's not working. I won't win at this rate. I'm still missing something. She stares up at the moon and recalls the warning that Tyson gave her, which is, you don't have the sight. That's what he said. And Akane realizes, I misunderstood the meaning of sight. What I ought to be looking at. And that's where we cut out.
Very, very cool. This was the chapter I also did not get to. I was trying to save Akane-banashi as my little treat for the week, and it was very fun.
Backfired on you.
Well, it did, unfortunately, but it was actually very nice to read it on air with you, Nick. You had a very wonderful way of recapping it and capturing, I think, a lot of the gravity. And this is a fun little start of what Akane's full focus of it. Like, I did like this point where it's like, yeah, we all laughed, but like we laughed because it's like a really funny joke being executed well. and like I'm curious as to see how she's like, what is this world that she is now viewing? Like this ultimate adhesion to like the classics, or how is she just like honed her art so specifically at this point?
Yeah, there's definitely something else that we haven't been given, because right now the explanation is like, she just did it straight, and that made it really effective. And it's like, I don't know, it sort of feels like that kind of takes away the idea of giving us an individual performer to follow. But I don't know, we'll see more. I am excited by what little taste we've gotten thus far. Yeah, but that's it for manga this week.
Yes.
You have a favorite chapter?
I do. My favorite chapter, I think, is going to be, MarriageToxin. I like when you take these like sort of big swing chapters where you just kind of shake up a lot of status quo stuff, and you give a lot of like teases for the future. It just, when you're a fan, it gives you so much stuff to think about. Isn't that like the best? You're like, oh, I want to think about
unless it keeps the main couple apart.
No, that's a different sort of thing. All right. We're still getting to the main couple part. They did it in Dandadan. They said I love you.
Yeah. I think it was a good chapter. I'm going with Ultimate X's Kiyoshi. I thought that it was amusing all the way through, and I'm excited for more. So that's a very nice change from how down on the series that we were during the big Black Parade arc, and it's nice to have, fun characters doing funny jokes again.
Yes, I completely agree. I will say Honoko is going to be my character of the week. I really enjoyed her in this chapter. It was a good reminder of how strong she is as a side character, and it legitimately did kind of bum me out when I was like, all right, it's called Hima-Ten. She's probably not going to end up with him, but like, gosh, I hope she does.
My character of the week is going to be Nasu, in the same regard as you picking up MarriageToxin. I thought that this was a very good chapter for getting across just how demented this villain really is, but also how insanely powerful they are. And it was definitely a chapter that, hey, changed the stakes of the story and really, really escalated things, but it all ultimately hinged on this being a good individual chapter for him.
All right, Nick. So it looks like Ichi the Witch won character of the week, or a chapter of the week, rather. And it looks like there's a tie for character between Edo Pirko from Odor of the Flame. Oh, it's Natsuki from New Exorcist, but I forgot that's the name of the series. I legit was like, N.E.? What the heck do we talk about that as N.E. as its initial? Legit had a moment of true confusion, and I was like,
we've successfully gaslit ourselves. I talk about New Exorcist with some of my friends, and I spell it like separating the title out that way, and my friend's like, you mean New Ways Exorcist? No, I don't mean that.
I'm sorry. This is just what the series is called in my brain now. Good picks. Natsuki and Edo Pirko.
Yeah, excellent, guys. Thank you for joining us for Weekly Manga Recap. We will have more next week. It'll be October when we get back into Weekly Manga Recap, so join us next Wednesday when we start sometime around 7:30 Eastern Time. And we're going to be right here on twitch.tv/RoloT. You can also follow us on socials to know when the show is going live. It's on BlueSky, RoloT, Nick F Time, Weekly Manga Recap, and also join in on getting your votes in on the MVP and favorite series stuff by following WMR Votes on BlueSky as well. Wherever this is linked, you can find the Discord server, where we'll also ping out a notification when the stream goes up, and that'll give you, links to the Google Doc, where everything is kept track of, all the recommendations that we've done over the years, question and answers, and all that stuff, and series recommendations for stuff, especially for Halloween month, which is, wow, very, very quickly coming, isn't it?
Yeah, we're kind of doing our Sadistic September episode in October, like the first day of October. So I don't know. We'll
Wednesday
see.
just fell on an awkward day.
Yeah. I'd look, guys, I would love to say like maybe the Spookmaster General will show up, but like I don't know if Nick's got the energy for Spookmaster General and Sadistic September. Also, I don't know if
I don't know if I've ever had the energy for Spookmaster General.
You tolerate it enough that we get through a podcast recording, but I think if both of them were there at once, that might be where you step out. You're like, I just have to. I
gotta go.
Yeah. I just see you walk out, the door slamming, and like, I just sit there.
Never turn anything off.
Yeah, I just sit there for 30 minutes, being like, I wonder if he's gonna come back.
Where was I? We are on Podbean, weeklymangarecap.podbean.com. Also, you can get the podcast on all your favorite podcast feed type places like iTunes and Spotify. We're also on YouTube with a video version, youtube.com/weeklymangarecap, which has an opening sequence done by MarriageToxin and Wednesday Cheddar, and occasionally title cards by Steve Man. Check out Steve Man's art by just searching for Steve Man Art. All across the internet, you can find it. And we want to thank Ninja X3i for helping out in terms of keeping track of a whole bunch of things that we normally wouldn't otherwise, namely all the votes and stuff on the doc. And Patreon. If you want more Weekly Manga Recap stuff, join us on Patreon. We'll have bonus episodes for you to check out, and you can help financially support the show. And there will be a big thing on Patreon relatively soon.
Yes. That's gonna do it, guys. I'm pooped. I'm tired. I gotta get out of here. So let's just come up with a good yuck and get out of here.
Oh, maybe we could talk about sores being picked at. That's a yuck.
Yeah, it is yuck. Ooh, do you remember Mr. Yuck?
No, I do not.
Did you never get Mr. Yuck stickers? They were like this like green and black like stop sign, like don't touch sign or whatever. And you were supposed to, as a kid, it was like given to kids, you were supposed to put Mr. Yuck stickers on the things in your house that were like poisonous.
Oh, interesting. Or no, I don't think I ever saw it.
Oh wow, I really thought that was like
trademarked by the Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh. That might explain.
Oh. I really thought so. It's just gonna be me and Kaniku Fan are gonna connect on this, and everyone else did not hang out with Mr. Yuck when you were a kid.
I guess not.
I really thought Mr. Yuck was a universe. Like I was like, I can't wait for Molderman way off in fucking Finland or whatever to be like, yes, Mr. Yuck, we have some here too.
Yeah, I think that I've got the equivalent now in terms of like Enterprise Village, which I thought was like a thing that was just kind of everywhere, and it's like, no, this location in Florida. I was like, that's it.
Wait a minute. All right, goodbye, everybody.